Hi, I'm Robin from Turquoise Computers. Today we're going to be looking at this new laptop from Leader Computers. If you don't know, Leader Computers are an Australian brand of laptop manufacturer. It's been operating since 1996 in Australia. They're great quality, they're great value. This is a new model from Leader. It's called the SC530. It's a budget entry-level laptop. It retails for about $550. $550 is a ballpark of, from other brands, some pretty terrible laptops that I wouldn't recommend to people. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Leader laptop compares to a price point of laptops that I've not generally been impressed by in the past. So what I find with laptops at this price point from other manufacturers is I generally find they're underpowered, poor quality. There's a distinct difference between something that's cheap and something that's good value. In my opinion, a $500 laptop that doesn't last very well and doesn't perform is not as good value as a $1,000 laptop that does. In the past, again, from other manufacturers, I've seen a lot of warranty returns, RMAs, failures, things like that of laptops at this price point. Some of these laptops are just not fit for purpose. They run slowly, they're underpowered, they struggle with just normal background tasks like Windows updates and things like that. Something I hear a lot is that people say, oh, I don't need a fast or powerful laptop, I only do basic things with the laptop. This can fall down in two places. With the prevalence of Windows updates now and how big the changes are they make to the operating system and how important they are being security updates in a lot of cases, you'll find that your computer is actually doing a lot more in the background than you may even do with it yourself. So you might just be checking your emails, checking the odd website, checking the weather or something like that. But the laptop itself, when it does a Windows update, is rewriting the operating system and making big changes to the computer, which is sometimes extremely resource hungry and demand a bit of power from the laptop. Secondly, the thing that is happening now again as a result of Windows updates is the operating system is growing over time. So if you buy a laptop that only just has enough performance to run when you buy it, you can find that very quickly Microsoft will release updates that increase the demand and increase the resource requirements of the computer. So before the hardware is come to its natural end of life, you'll find the performance of it is not coping with the new requirements that have come from Microsoft with new updates. So for those two reasons, I think it's really important to make sure that you've got a good amount of headroom on a laptop or a computer if you buy it, and make sure that when you purchase it, it's not only just doing what you need it to at that time, that it's got a little bit of headroom for Windows to grow and to do a few other things in the background that need doing to keep the computer safe and secure. So with the Leader laptop here, it does have a Celeron processor in it, or CPU. Historically, that's been a pretty good indicator that you might have some of these performance issues we're talking about. Celerons are the entry-level CPU from Intel. Over the years, they have got better, they have improved, and in conjunction with newer types of hardware, faster RAM, solid-state drives, the performance of them as a unit, as a computer, is improving. This Leader laptop has 4 gigs of RAM. It's not a huge amount of RAM. It should be enough for, again, basic tasks like browsing the internet, checking emails. The main improvement that comes with these entry-level laptops now, which wasn't there in the past, is the solid-state hard drives. It's been a key thing that's let down budget laptops in the past, is the use of the old style mechanical hard disks with the spinning plates in them. They're slow, unreliable and cheap, hence they were chosen to be used in some of these cheaper entry-level laptops. Now they're using these solid state drives, we should get a much better response from the system. With this Leader SC530, it's got the solid state hard drive, 4 gigs of RAM, Celeron N4000 processor, 15-inch full HD screen, and Windows 10 Professional, which allows it to be connected kind of safely and securely to business networks. Okay, so let's have a look at the laptop. Again, Leader is an Australian brand. They're based in Australia, they manufacture and assemble their laptops in Australia. I think in the current economic climate, it's more important than ever to be buying an Australian brand. The great thing about Leader is that they're a large national company, but they're not a large faceless company. Something you'll find with some of the other tier 1 brands like HP, Toshiba, Asus, any of the large national brands is as a product of their scale, they're sometimes not quite so responsive with their support and after sales care. With Leader, you'll find that they've got an office and a warranty center in every single state. And they also have an extensive dealer network. There's lots and lots of Leader dealers all around Australia. So if you purchase your laptop from one of those dealers, you can, if you do have any issues with it, you can bring it back to that dealer and they can either service it or replace it for you. Okay, so looking at the laptop, it does have a 15-inch full HD screen. This is not common at all on laptops at this price point. A lot of the time they have lower resolution screens. This has a full HD 1080p screen. What that means is you can display more on the same size screen. So with the lower resolution screens, you can't fit so much on the screen, and it sometimes leaves you in a position where you're having to scroll or zoom out or consistently manipulate the screen, trying to fit things on there. One thing I found is some websites aren't designed for the smaller size screens, and you'll be looking for a button or something to click on the website and it's been placed just out of the field of view of the lower resolution screen, and you have to scroll down to find it. It can be quite inconvenient sometimes. But yeah, this computer does have a full HD screen, so everything should fit on there nicely. It's got a HD webcam, a decent sized keyboard, and a number pad as well, which people working in finance, accounting, or you're just doing a lot with numbers, people get very used to having that number pad there. It's pretty useful. Okay, there's not much else in the box. We have the charger here. The charger is a little bit unique. Most laptops come with the big 19.5 volt charging bricks. They've been used a lot on laptops over the years, but not really anywhere else. One thing you do find is if you lose that charger, they can be quite expensive to replace, in excess of $100 if you lose one or you need a second one for traveling or something like that. What this is using is a standard 12 volt 2 amp AC adapter with a 12 volt DC jack on the end. So if you did need an additional one of these or you needed to replace one, these are available for maybe $15 at any electrical store. So that's quite handy. Let's see how they go. The other thing that's in the box is the manual. Generally manuals aren't much use, to be quite honest. They don't have very much in them. Maybe this is how you turn the laptop on, and it's generally in lots of very unuseful languages, explained in extremely convoluted ways. It looks like Leader have gone to quite a lot of lengths to make this manual actually quite useful and easy to read. Just go through a couple of the things in here. It's got your box contents. It's got a breakdown and description of where all the ports are and what they're for. This is quite handy for some people. Description of all these little icons that you see on the function keys across the top of the laptop. It's got a description of what they all are, what they do. Things like changing the brightness of the screen, volume up and down, turning the Wi-Fi on and off, putting the computer to sleep. They're all quite handy things to know. What else have we got here? A bit of information about the gesture pad on the laptop. So it's a normal touchpad. It's a good, decent, large size. But there's a few gestures for scrolling around with 2 fingers, scrolling up and down on websites, flicking backwards and forwards through documents. So it goes on to explain a bit of that in there. And then a bit of basic stuff about some of the more fundamental parts of Windows, which is handy. How to connect it to a Wi-Fi network, how to plug in an additional monitor, and how to charge it and stuff. So yeah, it's actually quite good. As I said, sometimes these things have got irrelevant information in it, and displayed in a very confusing manner, but it looks like Leader have gone to a lot of effort to make this useful and readable. Okay, so moving on with the laptop, we'll just have a look at what it's actually got on the laptop. So looking at it from this side, we've got the DC charging jack there, a HDMI port. This is so you can add an additional monitor, which can be really handy if you're using it for business or doing a lot of work, typing on documents or something, or you just want a bigger screen plugged in. Sometimes people would like to plug it into a TV or something to watch movies. There's a USB 3 port, USB-C port, which is the new USB standard. Again, this isn't on all laptops at the moment. It's quite a modern thing. It's good to see it on an entry-level laptop. Headphone jack, 3.5mm headphone jack, and a SD card reader. Moving on to the other side, we have a LAN Ethernet port for plugging into networks. This can be handy, especially if you're in a place that doesn't have Wi-Fi. Some hotel rooms and stuff have plugs in the wall you can plug into. So yeah, that's quite good, and another USB port. Okay, so what we'll do now is fire the thing up and have a look at it and see if it's worth the $550. Okay, let's have a look and see how this thing actually runs. Press the power button. Now again, setting up some of these budget, cheaper, entry-level laptops in the past, you very quickly work out that they're not going to be much fun to use just by the amount of time that they take to start up. That is usually a telltale sign that it's going to struggle with other things. If it's starting to take a long time to start up from the minute you get it out of the box, that's probably a bad thing. And you can see with this one, we just turned it on then, and it is almost in Windows. There we go. So that's as fast as a lot of other much more expensive laptops for sure. So we'll just go ahead now and try and do some normal things that we do with the new laptop. So first thing we're going to do is install Google Chrome. Microsoft Edge opened up nice and fast then. We'll go to search for google.com. And then yes, we'll install Google Chrome. Again, navigating around the websites, it seems nice and fast. And it seems strange, but yeah, some of these $400 or $500 laptops that you can get, they literally will start having problems already. You're turning them on, they're taking minutes and minutes to turn on and boot up. And then even just opening a web browser and navigating to a website can be painful, to say the least, whereas this is pretty slick. Just downloading that file now, and that's done. Everything's nice and responsive. Hasn't shown any signs yet at all of struggling. So that's going to install Chrome now. I've got a Bluetooth mouse plugged into it, so it's got Bluetooth on there as well. Obviously Wi-Fi. HD webcam, and that's finished downloading. Now that's installing. This is downloading's only ever going to be as fast as your internet connection. I install Chrome on every single new laptop we start up, so I've got a good idea of how fast it should take to install, and that was quick. That was quick by any standards. So yeah, it's certainly having no performance problems. So really it ticks all the boxes. It's got nice build quality in the chassis. It's thin, it's light, it's sturdy. It's got a decent 15-inch HD screen. The specs are modest, if not low, but it seems to do the job. It boots up fast, installs things fast. So if we want to open up an internet window now, open that up, straight up, maximize, maybe go to 9 MSN, which will have lots of stuff on the page to load up. And again, super snappy. So yeah, if you're looking for just a basic entry-level laptop, just to check emails, go on the internet, a little bit of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, just basic stuff, then this would be the one. We've really struggled over the years to find a decent laptop at this price point. By and large, most of the systems we've had at this price point, they've been terrible. But this, I'm quite happy to sell. I think it's excellent value for money. It runs really well. Looks good, it's light, it's sturdy, it does the job, and for 550 bucks, I don't think you can go wrong. A few things it's not going to do. It's only got a small hard drive, so we'll have a look at that now. It's only got 128 gigs, which at the moment, about a third of that is being taken up by Windows. So we've got 86 gigs left. So if you haven't got much to store, then that's going to be absolutely fine. If you're just using it for checking emails, browsing the internet, that's going to be more than enough space to, again, do all your Windows updates and check all your emails and stuff. If you have got a lot of photos to save, or a lot of videos, or you've got a lot of documents that you keep, this probably isn't the best solution. They do another model of this called the 531. This is a 530. The 531 is very similar specs. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's got 8 gigs of RAM and a 480 gig hard disk. So that is another step up, and it's $700, I believe. So that could be an option if this one doesn't quite have the specs. But yeah, so you're not going to be able to store heaps of stuff on it, but if that's not what you want it for, then it should suit you just fine. This is another thing that's common with some of these cheaper laptops, is that some of the specs seem okay, and then when you actually get to use it, it's not really suitable. So some of the other processors you can get are so slow that Windows won't even function properly. That's not the case with this one. And the other thing I've seen happening recently to reduce the cost and for people to get these laptops down to this price point of between $400 and $600, they put tiny solid state hard drives in them. So on paper, it says Windows 10, 8 gigs of RAM, solid state hard drive. It all sounds good. And then you find out it's only got a 64 gig hard drive in it. Now, again, I've had laptops in that are trying to do Windows updates, and there's not enough space left on the hard disk to download the update and install it. So the customers bought a brand new laptop, they've put a small amount of stuff on it, and now they can't even run their Windows updates without it crashing because the hard drive's already full. 128 gig, which is what this has got in it, is about as small as you want to go in that respect. You're not going to be able to store much on it, but it's always going to have enough room to do all its updates and servicing that it needs to do in the background. Okay, so that's the Leader SC530. There's more information available on it on our website, which is tqcc.com.au. You can go on there and see more specs, buy it online. There's also other laptops there you can look at, check out the specs and see if there's anything else there that suits you. And thanks for watching, hope this was helpful. Cheers.